Hello YouTube, this is Morgan, Airspeed Prime here with my next Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2012 episode review. This is going to be the episode review for episode 10 of season 1, and that is obviously episode 110. That's the kind of the way you describe the episodes, obviously season 1, episode 10, 110. And the title of this episode is Panic in the Sewers. Before I get into that, just a quick update. I managed to pick up the other 3 remaining turtles that I don't have yet, the action figures. So Michelangelo, Donatello, Raphael. I already had Leo, so that was cool. One of the toy stores I could get to actually had them a week early than they were meant to be out here, and because of that, they had like a special offer on, or like if you bought some of their figures, you got the this limited edition thing, which is actually the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive from this year, which is the special Leonardo figure that doesn't have any articulation but has a stand. So that's cool. I guess I'll maybe put up a video on these videos at some stage. I'll maybe leave it until maybe I get some of the other ones like Shredder, April, stuff like that. But I definitely want to do a video on the action figures at some stage. But anyway, this episode 110, Panic in the Sewers. Overall, I really did enjoy this episode. I thought it was really good, funny, had action. Very few negatives about this episode. It was a really good one. So I'll start off with Splinter, which is obviously basically the kind of start and end of the episode we really only see him in. And the episode starts off with an interesting kind of bad dream sequence. And I originally thought that this was going to be like basically all the turtles having this bad dream that they were getting beat up by Splinter, basically killed, I believe is what they were kind of going for with that. But then I was a bit shocked to see that it was Splinter having this, and it really made for an interesting concept throughout the whole episode of that Splinter was really the one fueling the turtles' fear of Shredder. And that he was making the little fear that they had of him, that they weren't good enough, worse throughout this episode, which basically led to them getting spotted by Bradford, now Dog Pound, earlier on in the episode, because obviously Mikey was saying, whoa, after what Splinter said, I'm really worried now. Stuff like that. So I really like that, and he kind of keeps them from going out on patrol, extra training all day, and he basically kind of grinds them into the ground, makes them really tired and stuff like that. It added a very interesting aspect to this Splinter, that it makes him very much a father figure to the turtle. He's not just their master, and I really like that, the fact that he grounds them, he really cares about them and stuff like that. And even in this episode, he acts a bit like a father figure to April as well when she wants to go out and stuff like that. So I really did enjoy Splinter in this episode. It was very realistic, and you understood where he was coming from throughout the whole episode. And he realised in the end that him kind of beating up the Shredder wasn't helping them, and he's going to stop that. I'll move on to the Turtles next, and this was actually a very interesting episode for Leo, because while there was no real focus on it in terms of like a big path through the episode for each of the Turtles, I found Leo very interesting in this one, that he was so confident, except for one moment. He was very much the leader, and like, while Raph kind of tries to kind of dominate the things with his kind of aggression and stuff, like he tried to do that on Leo in this episode, but Leo kind of knew what was going on the whole time, and like he points out that Raph's afraid by kind of poking him on the shoulder, making him scared, and then stuff like how he knows exactly when Michelangelo's going to go for him with the water bombs, except when he realizes he thinks he's run out, stuff like that. And then how this added into the fact that when he did have the kind of crisis of leadership, thinking he wasn't good enough, Raph kind of comes out and says the whole Space Heroes line. I thought that was really good. In another moment where Raph realizes that Leo is very much the leader of the team and has aspects that that he doesn't have. Like that's why Leo's made the leader and stuff like that. He realizes here. That was good. Speaking of that Space Heroes show, once again, it kind of foreshadows the way the main story goes. I think that it's happened like 2 or 3 times now, in that if you actually really analyze the Space Hero show and what happens in it, I believe it was the monkey episode and the whole brainwashing thing, that happened in that episode, and also happened in the Space Heroes bit in that episode. In this episode, there's a crisis of leadership. One of the other guys has to make Captain Ryan see sense, and then he throws a bomb to like save the day, which is what happens in this episode in the with the turtles. So that's an interesting thing. If you ever see the Space Hero show in the episode, it may actually be basically what happened in the episode, which is very interesting. Just a little thing I definitely noticed here. Mikey was hilarious in this episode with the Dr. Frankenstein thing, the water balloons, managing to get everyone except Leo right up until the end, even referencing the fact like, where on earth do you keep those things? It's just like the suspension of disbelief thing. Donnie making the detachable go-karts, which were absolutely amazing in this episode. That chase scene in those go-karts and just the way those go-karts work was really fun, and I can't wait to see those things used again when they're like when he makes them fully, like when he's finished them and they're not kind of falling apart already. Yeah, that's really cool, and I don't think they've yet made a toy of them, but that's perfect for a toy. Four little go karts which attach together to make one big go kart. That's really cool. Let's see. April in this episode, we haven't yet seen her training with Splinter really, but we see that it's been happening in the background. You know, it has been happening, and that she is progressing. She does some interesting undercover work here, kind of dressing up as a pizza delivery person, and just plants a like bug basically in the Purple Dragons. Tries to do it in the Foot Ninjas. And then we see that she's kind of working on her like acrobatic skills as well, like jumping from rooftops like the turtles do, which she did here, showing that she's not perfect at it, but she was like confident enough, brave enough to make the jump, but didn't quite have the skill to fully land it. But though she still kind of got up and stuff like that. So I like this. I like that to see that the training's progressing. The actual plot of this episode I thought was also pretty interesting. The one negative I would have of that is that with Dogpan, they just kind of there was no kind of transition scene between the mutation and then him just being super confident with his new ability and the way he looks. I would have liked, even if they didn't do an episode focusing on him adapting to it, just for him to like say something like that, don't like this new form or something like that. The way they've done it now, it seems like something's missing almost in that development. Like there would have been something like what's happened to us some moment. But anyway, I like what they did. I like Dogpound as a character. I was a bit worried because I did like Chris Bradford as a human, and he works as Dogpound, and as the he basically maintains the same sort of fighting style as the like powerhouse guy, but he's going to be kind of take more hits because of the kind of bone armor stuff, which is cool. Then the whole Shredder knows they're in the sewers, so he's going to use this chlorosulfonic acid, which reacts with water, to basically blow them out. And that was interesting. And in the end, you wonder, like, is the Shredder going to... At the end of the episode, you know, the whole plan doesn't work out. The Turtles' lair is fine. They come back to the lair, so they're still there. But the Shredder still knows they're there. So it's one of those moments where you're wondering, like, okay, does the Shredder realize now that he's not actually going to win if he just attacks them in their lair, that it's almost not worth it to attack them in their lair and just wait until they come out, and we're not going to see many more attacks on their sewer anymore. That's the kind of plot bit of the episode that's kind of interesting. Is it just like, okay, there's no point trying this, they're going to defend it and they're going to win, we just have to kind of draw them out and do it that way. And that was cool. The way the whole chase scene added into it, April getting captured as a side plot to the main one, and then again the way the water bomb, which Mikey was using at the start of the episode, ultimately wins it for them. It was just a really fun episode. Lots of moments. There were some really nice quotes as well. One from Mikey was the whole thing where he's like, "No, not the pizza. She's gone rogue." When April throws the pizza out. I thought that was really good. Like Mikey cares so much for the pizza. And then the kind of it's the way the Shredder says the line at the end. They defeated you with go-karts and a water balloon. Just for him and this really kind of epic, deep, villainous voice to say go-karts and water balloons, it worked very well. And then Dogman to say like, I know it sounds absurd, but they did it. So yeah, I really did like this episode. Just there was just one negative, really, the whole dog pen thing, and not much development in terms of like the effect of the mutation on him. He just seemed to go from being mutated to instantly knowing how to use his new skills, use his new body and stuff like that. But yeah, it seems like the show isn't taking a break, or at least isn't taking one yet. So I have no idea really what to believe. I'm just going to assume that it's on every week and watch it. I know this show is probably going to be at least on until episode 13, halfway through season 1. But who knows? We'll see how that goes. I'll definitely keep an eye out to see if it's on every week and hopefully get a review out every week. So thank you for watching, and bye.